Hi guys, it's Sue. You've got me in my all my messy glory today. I've been tagged by Sharon Tilyard. Sorry, Sharon, if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Sharon tagged me in the 10 Crafty Questions challenge, so I thought I will answer those questions, and I'm just fiddling at the moment, getting ready for my pop-up shop in a few weeks. It's about 2.5 weeks away now, so I'm working on all these fabric covered journals at the moment, so I thought I'll just fiddle around and get some bits and pieces done for that while I'm answering those questions. So okay, just pop them down. So I hope you're all doing really well. What I'm doing is I'm just making some paper clips with some seam binding on the top, just to clip some tags and that throughout some of the journals. So I'll just continue with that. I'll cut out some tags and I'll just fiddle around while I answer the questions. So I'll get straight into it. Okay, so the first question is, what is your name? My name is Sue Cook and I live in Queensland, Australia. Southeast Queensland I live in, so I have lived here all my life. So one day my partner and I are hoping to head down to the Sunshine Coast to live. So that's our dream place to live. So hopefully in the next at least 5 or so years, that's our plan, is to head down and live down there. So working really hard towards that. So my YouTube channel's name is Paper Inspirations. How did I come up with that YouTube name? Well, I'm not really even sure. I love paper and have loved paper from as far back as I can remember. And I don't know, I just love sharing craft ideas, that sort of thing. So I guess it was like I wanted to inspire people too. You know, some people just don't feel, and we're all like that, I suppose. Sometimes you just don't feel confident to do something or give something a go. So I guess that's what I wanted to do, was just to inspire people to give it a go and just have a bit of fun and yeah, with their paper. So Paper Inspirations. So I guess that's where it came from. So, you know, I love being able to recycle paper and old books, that sort of thing. So I've always loved stationery. So yeah, Paper Inspirations it is. What is your favourite craft? Oh gee, it's a shame I have to choose one, but going on my past, I'd have to say probably papercraft in one form or another. And at the moment, my favourite craft is doing junk journals, whether it's making junk journals or the ephemera to go inside them, or actually just writing in my personal junk journal. I don't know, I seem to just eat, breathe and sleep junk journaling at the moment, and have done pretty much for the last 12 months. So yeah, I can't get enough of it. So I guess when you're passionate about something, you need to just go with the flow and just see where it takes you. So I guess probably junk journaling is my favourite craft at the moment, but any form of paper craft really. So my love of stationery, I blame my dad for that. He could never go into a stationery shop or a news agency or anything like that without coming out with something, and I'm now exactly the same. So I know, yeah, I can always remember, you know, Mum sort of saying, you know, Peter, did you really need to buy that? And Well, of course he did, Mum. You know, it's necessary. You have to have these stationery items. You might not use them straight away, but you'll use them eventually. Yeah, I don't know. I've done many and varied crafts, but I guess I started stamping in, I think it was around about 1990. And yeah, stamping's been a real passion for me. You should see my stamp collection. I've got hundreds of them, and I'm just hopeless. If I see a stamp that I don't have and I love, I just have to have it. So I'm pretty hopeless in that way. So I'm also a quilter, and I've sewn pretty much since grade 10 in high school. But I only took quilting up when I started working for the Quilter's Angel in Highfields. Highfields is about half an hour from where I live, so that's going back about 15 years ago now, and I'm still working there, which is great. I love the job. You know, there's not a day really that I can't say that I have ever, unless I've been sick, that I've ever woken up and gone, oh, I don't want to go to work today. So I guess I'm one of those lucky people that have a job that I love, and quite happily go. And I mean, I work hard when I'm there, but it just doesn't feel like work. It's really enjoyable. So how lucky am I, really? Papercraft, in regards to, you know, papercraft as well, I started scrapbooking when my first son Josh was born. Like most of us, started with creative memories probably. So I did a class one day, or party plan for a friend, and just fell in love with it, and just went from there, and then to the point of where I opened up my my own scrapbooking store here locally for a few years, and I loved that. I didn't love the stress of owning a bricks and mortar store and all the, you know, everything that comes with, you know, the stress of owning and running a business. But I loved the people, and I loved the people that I met and the friendships that I've made, and I still have from that. And I really, really loved the teaching aspect, because I did classes. We did classes quite often during the week, and we'd have what we called Midnight Madness. We'd all just, you'd book in, and a whole group of us, we'd just scrapbook till midnight or later. So yeah, I really do miss the people and the teaching side of that, but I certainly don't miss the stress of running the bricks and mortar store. So favourite place to shop for craft supplies? I really like to try and support local businesses if I can. It worries me the amount of, you know, your specialty scrapbooking stores or your specialty quilting stores, you know, that sort of thing. They're becoming few and far between. And I just feel that if we don't support our local scrapbooking stores or quilting stores, there's going to come a time when we're not going to be able to actually walk into a store and see the items, feel the items, you know, make sure, you know, see what the quality's like and that sort of thing. Yeah, I just think if you are able to shop locally, definitely try and do that first and support those businesses. I don't, you know, like, there is a time and a place where you have to shop online, and I get that because I do that as well. But unfortunately, in our hometown here, we no longer have a scrapbooking store. They've all closed down. All we've got now is our Spotlight and Lincraft, and sometimes they leave a little bit to the imagination. So online stores, I don't know. I shop on Etsy. I do a lot of purchasing of like your digital prints and, you know, that sort of thing on Etsy. I love going to op shops, seeing what I can find there. Some of our cheap shops, you know, like Reject Shop and Choice and those sort of stores, they have some amazing craft and stationery supplies for quite reasonable prices. So I do have a favourite scrapbooking store, but it's about 2 hours away from me, and I try to get there a couple of times a year, if I can, but I always need to make sure I've got my money saved up before I go, because I always tend to do a lot of damage there. It's called Bella Paperie, and it's at Brendale down in the Brisbane area. So if you're local to that area, guys, drop in. It's amazing. I could spend hours, and I have spent hours in there before, and poor old Jim just sits outside waiting for me, so he's a very patient man. But that store is just, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. So okay, top 5 crafty YouTube channels. Wow, once again, it's so hard just to choose 5. But I'd have to probably say the one person that I always go to straight away is Gail Agostinelli. I blame Gail for my obsession with junk journaling, because she was the first video that I ever watched on the subject. I just love her demeanour, and it's just very casual, and it's, you know, she makes mistakes, and, you know, she doesn't give herself a hard time about it, and it just feels like you're crafting with her when you watch her videos. So and she was the first person that I ever watched regarding junk journaling, so I'd have to say Gail would have to be my number 1. I love Maddie at Crafty Lore. She doesn't get time to do a lot of videos. I know she's a very busy lady, but her journals are amazing. They're a work of art, and so detailed. It's just incredible. So I was lucky recently to receive one of her works of art in a swap that we did. I have actually shared that in a video if you're interested. You can find that. I'll try and remember to put the link to that down below, but yeah, she's amazing. So I quite often go over and check and see if Maddie's got any new videos posted. I absolutely love Andrea at Artie Mays. I just love her style. It just screams at me every time I watch. She inspires me so much, and I love that she brings her mixed media, you know, textiles and everything into her journals, and I love that, because I've done a bit of mixed media art before as well. I dabbled in it. I'm not great at it, but I love getting messy, and so yeah, I love Andrea's work. So she's certainly one of the top 5. I'd love an ounce of her talent, to be quite honest. Yeah. So also Rachel at Roxy Creations. She's a fellow Aussie. So she's right up there as well. I like her just do it attitude. It's perfect for someone like me, because I tend to overthink things too much. You know, I quite often craft while listening to Rachel, and I just feel like I'm in the same room as her and crafting along with her. So yeah, I just love what she does. Another person I guess that I'd class as one of my favourites would have to be Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. She's got a similar attitude to Rachel, and I love her digital kits. They're just amazing. There's so much value for money in them. And I just love how she manages to just pull everything together when she makes things. And it's the same thing, you know, she doesn't really sort of pre-think her videos that she's doing, and she just makes, and she makes mistakes like all of us. And I think I just like to see that they're human and they make mistakes like I do, and I don't know, I just can really relate to them. So I don't know, there's so many more YouTubers that I'd love to credit, but I'm guessing that you don't have a couple of days spare for me to go through all that. So I'll leave that at those ladies that I've just mentioned just before. So the next question is, what's your favorite color? I don't even have to think about that. Pink. Not a real bright pink, just like a vintage pink, a really soft pink. I love pastels, so but I'd also have to say teal would be a close second, and pink and teal together I absolutely love. So I'm probably tending to gravitate towards teal more, actually, as I'm cutting these out. So pink and teal, yeah, definitely. I've never really been a lover of blue, but since I did a swap with Rachel at Roxy Creations, and I did a blue journal for her, I've definitely been converted, because it's funny, you know, at work I'm surrounded by beautiful fabric and that sort of thing, and the blue ranges that come in, I'm just like, oh wow, I love that, you know, whereas before I would have just overlooked them. So it's funny, isn't it, how we just change. It's a bit like food that we like and our taste, I guess. And I think also colour, favourite colour or colours that you love, I think that changes with your mood. I don't know, that's what I think. I find that that's what happens with me anyway, depending on what mood I'm in, depends what colour that I tend to go for. So my favourite tools to craft with, well, I've got so many. First I'd have to say ink. I love ink. Ink is your friend. It's my best friend anyway, so it hides a multitude of errors. I guess my sewing machine. I love my sewing machine, most definitely. I always joke that if anything sits for too long on my desk or around me, I'll pick it up and I'll stick it through the sewing machine. I just love the look. I guess because I'm a quilter as well. I just have that love of sewing, and I just love the texture of the sewing on paper. Yeah, I just love that. Scissors. Scissors, definitely. I mean, we'd be lost without our scissors, wouldn't we? And I love my Tim Holtz cutter, guillotine. It took me years and years. So the Tonic Studios, the Tim Holtz one, it's got like the extension here so that you can measure your bigger pieces of paper. Love this. I had I think it was a Making Memories really big solid cutter that I had for 10 years, and I absolutely loved it. It had a stone down the sides. Every time you used it, it just sharpened it. Well, it died because I accidentally dropped it too many times, and I can't find any anymore. I don't think Making Memories is in business anymore. I'm not sure. I've tried to research it, but I have had no luck in finding it. So I have wasted hundreds of dollars going through so many cutters and guillotines trying to find something that I liked, and I'm pleased to say that I've finally found the Tim Holtz cutter is perfect for me. So, and glue, be lost without my glue. This is the glue that I use. It's just from our Spotlight here in Australia. It's a Crafter's Choice, and it dries clear, but it bonds so many different things together: fabric, paper, leather, plastics, glass. Love that. Go through gallons of that. And I'd have to say at the moment, one of my other favourite tools is my vintage thread caddy that I've made. So I use this. This holds all my bits and pieces for bookbinding. So it's great. I've just sit it on my shelf here, and I just grab it down and everything's there that I need to bind a journal. So that's one of my favourites as well. Sorry, I'm not doing much with my hands, am I? I'm finding it hard to do talk and do a few things at the one time. So these are going to go in some of these journals. So I'm just sort of cutting them out. I'll back them with coffee dye paper and sew around them, put an eyelet in and some seam binding. So because I've got so many, I'm just trying to sort of do multiples of the same thing and then, or similar thing, themed. And then there's a couple of journals that I've got, you know, I'll show you. Oh, sorry guys. So I've done some, like I've got to decorate the covers yet. I haven't gotten to that stage yet. So, but there's some of the journals that I've got in, these actually came as a range in work. So they're same sort of cover, but in different colorways. And I've got, where is that? So this is one, so that's in the blue. I love this. See, blue again. I just love that. And I've just done a fabric ruffle. So I'm not going to decorate that one, that particular one, any more than that. I just think that that's enough. And I've just started, you know, putting bits and pieces in there. So that's why I'm sort of thinking, well, I'll try and do, so I've got 4 out of that range. So I could probably put these throughout the 4 of them. I don't want them to be exactly the same, but it just sort of saves me a bit of time if I can think ahead and do it that way rather than do them one journal at a time. Okay, so where were we at? Oh, where do you get your love of crafting from? I'd probably have to credit my mum for that. And, oh, excuse me, and also partially my dad. As I said previously, Dad, because he's always loved stationery, and I guess that's rubbed off on me. I now can't go into a stationery store and walk out without something, even if it's just a biro, a pen or something. Actually, that's another tool, I guess I could say, is I love these pens, Uniball Signo 0.7. They are the best pen. I never, you know, some of the pens you get, they sort of stop rolling, and I have never ever had a problem with these. So if I go into like our Officeworks here, which is our big stationery store locally, just for a look, and I don't see anything that I particularly need or want, it's more so want, I will always grab a couple of those pens because I just go through them. I use them on everything. And I found that my sister loves them as well. So whenever she comes over to craft, she always goes, oh, I didn't bring a pen, can I borrow one? And then she always ends up taking it home. So I'm not only supplying myself, I'm supplying her as well. So yeah, that's probably another tool that I tend to love as well. So going back to where did I get my love of crafting from? So yeah, Dad, probably with my stationery addiction, I'd have to blame him for that, you know. But I guess my main creativity came from Mum. She taught me to sew, basically. I did do what they call home economics at school. Hated the sewing side of it. I think the teacher probably was more so the reason I hated it so much, because she was an absolute witch. And I do remember Mum actually mainly doing my home economics assignments for me because I was hopeless at it, and she passed for me, which was really good. But yeah, she taught me to sew, much to her disgust at the beginning, I think, because, as I said, I was pretty hopeless. She's a very patient woman, but I'm sure several times she nearly threw her hands in the air and walked away. She's an amazing artist. She would say she's not, but she is an amazing artist. She used to paint with oils, but she paints now with acrylics. Now that she's a little bit older and she's, you know, unfortunately she's got arthritis and a few other health issues, she finds it hard to stand and do that now. But I've got several of her paintings scattered around my home. Yeah, they're just amazing. I got her into scrapbooking, and she's a natural at it as well. So she's always, I guess she's always been crafty or arty, creative in one way or another. I mean, we've done many crafts together actually over the years. I remember we used to do folk art classes, so that was another thing that I've done as well. But yeah, definitely probably from both my parents, but mainly from my mum. When did I start crafting? As I said before, I think I've always done some form of crafting from as far back as I can remember. I do remember getting really serious about stamping once again in about 1990 when I first went to a stamping class, and I was sold. I fell in love with it there and then. And yeah, the amount of stamps I have is ridiculous, and I have tried to destash them, but I just can't do it. I just love them, and I don't use every single one obviously all the time, but I eventually use them, and I love them. I mean, I've got one tub here. I'll just show you. This is one tub here, sorry about that, under my desk, and whether you can see that, they're just stamps that I've been using recently, and I have several tubs. I'm not going to tell you how many, but I have several tubs like that as well that I have, and I've got them all sorted into themes. I love them, and I don't feel guilty about buying them. I work hard, and it's something that I love, and I don't drink and I don't smoke, so I just think that there's, at least for my money, I've got something, and if ever I need to money for whatever reason, I can then sell them on. So you can't sell on smokes that you've smoked or alcohol that you've drunk, can you? So that's my rational thoughts. I think it's rational thoughts anyway. So yeah, I started stamping about 1990, and I'm addicted, totally addicted. So, and then I started seriously sewing in about 1994. Yeah, Josh was born in September 1994, so probably 1995. So I started making clothes for him, and then it just went from there. I've just sewn ever since, and that's what I love about junk journaling. Which brings me to the last question: what's your favourite craft so far? Well, I'm going to have to say sewing and junk journaling and paper craft. And I just love, I think it's amazing how all of these crafts can be combined to make something practical yet beautiful, and they're just all, you can just do it all in one. So here we've got this journal here I've already bound, so like you're using thread and fabric and stitching, and then you've got paper. I haven't stamped in any of this one yet, but what more could you ask for a craft to incorporate everything into one item? And I mean, and not junk journaling, mixed media. You can add mixed media into your journals as well. So I'd have to definitely say junk journaling is my favourite craft so far, and as I said before, I eat, sleep and breathe it at the moment, and I have actually been known to wake up from sleeping with an idea, and have to get up and try it, or get up and write it down so that I don't forget about it. So and I think probably I've always kept some form of journal before. I can remember having in primary school those little diaries that you had the little lock on with the key, and I used to write in that. Saying, I have no idea where they are. Yeah, it's a shame, because it would be lovely to sort of just look back and see see what I wrote about. So, but I do, even now, I don't religiously journal. I'd like to try and get into the habit of doing journaling every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. But I can't even concentrate on that at the moment with, I'm just busy with work and getting ready for this pop-up shop. So, but that is one of my goals, is to actually sit down for at least 5 minutes every day. I've set up a little corner in my bedroom with a beautiful chair and, you know, nice relaxing area. So what I want to try and do is every night just sit for 5 minutes and write in my journal. So, and these journals, I love the interactiveness of, if that's such a word, of these journals, and rather than just having, you know, lined pages, you know, tags and all your different dyed papers and that sort of thing. I just love it. It just makes me want to journal. So that's it, and I hope that tells you a little bit more about me. I hope I didn't rattle on for too long. Once again, thank you, Sharon, for tagging me. And I have to tag somebody, so I would like to tag Maddie at Crafty Law. So I will let her know that I've tagged her, and I will try and remember to put the links down below for Maddie's channel. Please check her out. She's an amazing artist. And yeah, give her some love. I can't believe she's, you know, hasn't got more subscribers than what she has. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get back to work and get this these things done, or try and get these finished for the pop-up shop, and I will see you next Tuesday for Tuesday Inspiration. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.